Hello, welcome to my living room / yoga studio. My name is Claire and I am going to be guiding you today through a LYT Method Yoga class. You're going to need a block, and if you've not got a block, something that you can squeeze between your thighs like a large cushion or rolled up towel. If you're going to use my playlist, don't have it on at the beginning and I will tell you when to press play. We'll press play at the first sun salutation. So before we come down onto our back, one final thing, if you've got the space to move your device, we're going to be facing the front of your mat, the back of the mat, and also the long right side of the mat. So I do advise people to put their device on the long right side or somewhere just off to the side so that you can see me when you're facing different directions. Let's begin. Come around onto your back and have your block with you. So we'll have the knees pointing up towards the ceiling to begin. Bring your block between your right thigh and the belly. And we'll lift the right leg and we'll squeeze the block. So the block isn't perfect, so a rolled up towel will do the same job, or a big cushion. And we're just going to give that a really good squeeze. Now the option is to stay here and really squeeze into that block as much as you can with the thigh. The other option is to press down in the left foot and to lift the pelvis off the floor just a little bit. So we're in a really, really low bridge, sliding the tailbone away and squeezing that block. And we'll breathe at the same time. So this first part of our practice is called the reset. And we're going to reset some parts of the body. So waking up some muscles that might be a little bit snoozy, especially if we've not been doing a lot today. And then resetting parts of our posture that might help us to move a bit better when we get upright. One more breath. And we'll swap the block. If you're in the low bridge, you can stay in the low bridge, put the right foot down and bring the left thigh in towards the belly, squeeze your block. And then we're really trying to hold steady in this right hip, getting this right glute to switch on. So as we take our deep breaths here, I'll tell you a little bit about this class. It's not going to be a very long class, and it's primarily going to focus around our hips. Not just opening and stretching our hips as we may do in yoga a lot, but more mobilizing and creating some more strength and stability in your hips. So if that means nothing to you, that's okay. Hopefully you will just feel this. In fact, you might be feeling some of it right now, or you might feel it by the end of the practice. Let's release the block. We'll come to that low bridge. You can readjust your feet slightly so they're about hip distance apart. And then your block can be in between the thighs. So we'll give it a really good squeeze here, trying to avoid dipping your bum towards the floor and belly up, but instead thinking about sending the lower back down and longer towards the heels, drawing in the lower abdominals, and we breathe. So already we might be starting to feel a little bit warmer and a bit more awake around the hips and into the glutes, which is great. Let's lift the hands up towards the ceiling and we'll pull the right fingers back towards your face, stretching out the right wrist, and you can allow the right thumb to stretch to the side too. Keep squeezing your block. One more breath here. And swap to the other side. Pull the left fingers back, stretch out the left wrist, still squeezing the block, and just think about this bridge being low. So we're not trying to push into any kind of back bend. Instead, we're trying to lengthen the spine, draw the abdominals in, and find a neutral pelvis. We'll take one more breath in this wrist stretch. And then we'll lower our arms first and segmentally lower the spine piece by piece all the way down. You can get rid of your block. Okay, keep your feet on the floor and your knees pointing up. Bring the hands up behind your head interlace the fingers and we'll draw the elbows close into the temples. Take a really big inhale. As you exhale, lift up off the shoulder blades and then pause the breath, drawing the webbing of the abdominals in. So not just belly button, but all the abdominals lighting up. And then inhale as we lower the head. Exhale, lift up, same thing again. Coming off the shoulder blades and pausing, really allowing the weight of the head into the hands here. Inhale as we lower the head down. Now you can always stay with that, or we can start to add on. Exhale, lift up off the shoulders. Lift the left leg up off the floor, knee over hip. And then we'll roll the left thigh open to the left. Bring it back into center. Roll the left thigh open to the left without changing anything else. Bring it back to center. Roll the left thigh to the left. Center. Lower the leg. Inhale as you lower the head. Exhale, lift up. Hover the right leg, knee over hip. Roll the right thigh open to the right. It doesn't have to go far. The spine stays long. Roll it back into center. Roll it open to the right. Back into center. Open to the right. Back into center, lower the right foot and inhale, lower the head. Exhale, lift up. Coming off the shoulder blades. Left leg lifts like it did before. This time roll the left thigh in. So almost more like left knee kind of towards your right knee. Back to center. Roll it in. Back to center. Roll it in. Back to center. Put the left foot down. Inhale, lower the head. Big breath in. Exhale, come up. Same on the right. So right leg lifts. Roll the right thigh in. This is internal rotation. Back to center. Roll the right thigh in. Back to center. Roll the right thigh in. Back to center. Put the right foot down and inhale. Lower your head down. We're going to put those two things together. So exhale, lift up off the shoulders, big breath out. Seeing if we can pause the breath too. Lift the left leg. Roll the left thigh out and then in. Out and then in. Out and then in. Back to center. Lower the left foot and inhale, lower the head down. Exhale as you lift up off the shoulders. Lift the right leg, knee over hip. We'll roll it out. This is external. Roll it in. This is internal. Keep going. Roll it out. Roll it in. Roll it out. Roll it in. Back to center. Put the right foot down and inhale. Lower the head, and this time just hug your knees into the chest. Little rock side to side. Maybe a lovely big exhale here. Put your feet back down on the floor. And this time feet a little bit wider, knees pointing to the ceiling. Let's let both knees drop to the left, but really push down in that right foot so that the right glute lifts up towards the ceiling. And we maybe find a stretch in the front of the right hip. Couple of deep breaths. If you've got the space at home to open up your arms, then you can do that. Back through the center with the legs. Let the knees drop to the right, but keep that left one very, very active. Press down in the left foot so we get this left glute squeezing up. Feels a little bit like low bridge on that left side. Back into center. Hug your knees in. We're going to come up onto all fours, so maybe rock a couple of times first, and then I will meet you up there. Hands underneath your shoulders, and the knees can be quite close in towards the wrists underneath the creases of your hips. Finding a neutral spine, tuck the left toes, slide the left leg back. And then keeping the abdominals engaged, lift the left leg up off the floor. So it doesn't have to go very high. We're not looking to kick it as high as we can. Instead, we're looking to keep everything else engaged. Bend the left leg so the knee's at 90 degrees. And then we'll just pulse using the left glute. So it's almost like you're pressing the sole of your left foot towards the ceiling. Except think about this left glute doing the work. And if it's really, really small, that's okay. Left knee can come back in to meet the right knee. Tuck the right toes, slide the right leg back, and again, hold everything else firm. Lift the right leg off the floor, still drawing the abdominals in, keeping the spine long. Bend the right leg in the air and we'll pulse the right glute. One more, and right knee comes in to meet the left. Lower your forearms for dolphin. You can interlace your fingers, I prefer this one, or your hands can be flat, it's up to you. Let the head hang in the gap, give it a shake, round the upper back and then tuck your toes, lift the knees up, and you can walk your toes a bit closer in. For dolphin pose, really lift the pelvis, allow the head and neck to just dangle here. And then you can look at your toes. You can either rock up and down on the tiptoes, or you might want to try lifting one leg up. Just to about hip height is okay. Put it back down. Lift the other leg up. And put it back down. Almost like you're marching the legs on the spot. A couple more times. Strong in the shoulders. And then we'll lower down, take a child's pose, drop your knees, drop the head, big inhale, and a big exhale. Okay, whenever you're ready, come into downwards facing dog. And from down dog, maybe take a moment to pedal out the heels. Look at your hands and begin to walk your feet to the hands, trying to keep the hands down on the ground as much as you can, allowing the knees to bend, the hips to flex. Hands on the shins, we'll slide our way up to standing with a neutral spine. Okay, up at standing at the top of your mat. And this is where you can press play on that playlist. I will give you a moment to do so. And then we'll begin standing tall in Tadasana. Okay, inhale. Lift the hands forwards and up. Hinge from the hips, bend the knees, forward fold, hands under the shoulders. Step the right foot back and lower the right knee and the top of the right foot. Inhale, arms lift up. Exhale, hands land, step into plank. Lower the knees first and then slowly lower the rest of the body, keeping the shoulders lifted. Pulling back into low cobra, imagining you're dragging your hands backwards. Lift, downwards facing dog. Exhale. Step the right foot forwards. Lower the left knee and the top of the foot. 90-90 lunge. Lift the arms. That left glute is on. And this right heel is pulling backwards energetically. Hands land, step to the front. Exhale. Bent knee forward fold. Inhale, rise to stand. Exhale, sit back in the hips, bend the knees, fold, hands land. Step the left foot back, lower the knee but not the toes. Come up, interlace your fingers at the lower back. You can rest the knuckles. Don't worry about your elbows, but think about opening the top of the chest, drawing the shoulders back without popping the ribs forwards. Hands release, step into plank. Lower the knees first, and then lower slowly, shoulders up. Pull back, low cobra, inhale. Exhale, down dog. Slide the left foot forwards and lower the right knee, but not the toes. Come up, hands interlace at the sacrum. Rest the knuckles, open the top of the chest, but without pushing the ribs forwards. Hands come down to the front. Exhale into this forward fold, bent knees. Inhale, rise to stand. Let's do sequence number 1. Exhale, we're sitting back in the hips, bend the knees, fold, hands land, step the right foot back, lower the knee and come on up. It's up to you if you want these back toes to be tucked under or not. See which one feels better for you. Arms reach out in front of you. And we're going to sweep this right arm down, open and back. Bring it back to the front. And then more of a sweep. Bring it back. And at the same time that we're allowing the ribs to open and move, the arms to move. This right glute is really on. This left heel is really, really pulling backwards. Keep the hands forwards. Right hand down to the floor or a block. Twisted crescent. Pick up the back knee. Lift the left arm up to the ceiling and allow your head to just drop to the right shoulder. Maybe even shake the head no. Bring the left hand down. Step into plank. Hold your plank. Step the right foot out to the right. Bring it back in. Left foot to the left. Bring it back in. Right foot to the right. Back in. Left to the left. Bring it back in, and then maybe bend the left knee in the air and lower all the way onto the belly with the left knee bent. Drop your head onto your hands for a moment. Forehead is down. The left leg is bent to 90 degrees and the right leg is straight. Let's pulse from the left glute like we did before. Really small lift and lower, pressing the pubic bone down into the floor. And then release that left leg back. Hands under the shoulders. Push up onto the knees. Downwards facing dog. Take a breath. You can walk your toes a bit closer in, staying long in the spine. Inhale, lift the left leg up about hip height. Bend the left knee and we'll roll that left thigh in and out, just like we did when we did those abdominals, rolling it in and out, internal and external. But your spine isn't changing, it's just that left hip. Very small movement. One more breath. Step the left foot forwards between the hands. Turn to the right for some side lunges. We're going to sit back as we move side to side. So I'll show you this in a moment from the side. Keep sitting back, keep the spine long. From the side, I want you to think that you've got a chair behind you. You're trying to sit back. Sit back behind you onto that imaginary bench. Hands can be on the shins, they can be on the floor. One more breath here. Turn to the back of the mat. Drop the left knee into a 90-90 lunge and lift your arms. Back toes are tucked or untucked, up to you. Same thing to get back to the front. So the hands reach forwards in front of the face. Swing the left arm down and back. Bring it back up. Swing it down and back up. Keep going. Maybe with the breath. And that left glute really holding you here. Reach both hands forwards. Next hand, left hand is there. Keep it there. Left hand down, right hand up. Lift up the back knee. Twisted crescent. Let the head drop to the left shoulder. Relax the neck. Keep lifted in the left side of the pelvis. Come into plank. Right hand lowers. Step the right foot back. Pause in your plank. Left foot out to the left. Bring it back in. Right foot to the right. Give it a tap. Bring it back in. Left, left. Back in. Right, right. Back in. And then this time bend that right knee and lower all the way down to the floor. You can always put the knees down first. Drop the forehead. Pulse the right glute. Really press down that pubic bone towards the floor. Smaller is definitely better here. And then relax the right leg down, hands under the shoulders. Push up onto the knees. Downwards facing dog. You can always walk the toes a bit closer in. Knees can bend here too. Lift the right leg up about hip height. Bend the right knee. Roll the right thigh out and in without changing the pelvis or the lower back. So it's just that right hip. Small movement with control. Step the right foot towards the hands at the back of the mat. Turn to your left, side lunges. Sit back, sit back. You can be up higher, sitting back. Hands can even go into the hip creases. So you're just encouraging that femur bone back into the pelvis. One more. Staying low, turn to the front of the mat. Forward fold, step the feet together. And inhale, rise up to stand. Sun salutation A, exhale, sit back in the hips, fold, step or jump into plank. Lower with or without your knees or chaturanga. Up dog or low cobra, inhale. Exhale, downwards facing dog. Take a breath. And a big sigh out. You can walk the feet to the front, or we can add a hop here. Inhale onto your tiptoes. Exhale, bend the knees, add a hop. Inhale, rise straight to stand. So there's no halfway lift here. Exhale, bend the knees, sit back, hands land. Step or jump to plank. Lower with or without the knees. Up dog or low cobra, inhale. Exhale, downwards facing dog. And we'll pause, take a breath. Keeping that spine long and the ribs held together. Okay, from your downwards facing dog, lift the left leg up in the air just to about hip height. So we're going to be heading into a high lunge. You can either just step the left foot forwards or take a moment to look at your right toes and come up onto the tips of the right toes a couple of times. You might get some clicks and cracks. I definitely just did. I don't know if that's on the microphone. If you want to add a hop, you can come onto tiptoes and then push the floor away with the right toes. Push a couple of times, and then we'll step the left foot. Come up into a crescent lunge, high lunge. Bend both knees. Allow the spine to stay neutral. Little bit of buoyancy here. From our high lunge, bring the left hand into this crease at the top of the left leg. Right hand is going to hook around just above the right knee. So we're heading into a bent leg, warrior three. As we shift forwards, the left hand is going deeper into that hip crease. The right hand is giving you some support, drawing the abdominals up. Keep the spine long and allow this left leg to stay bent. It is harder, but that is okay. We're not perfectionists here. From our warrior three, this is where it's going to get playful. I might wobble, I might fall out, you might, it doesn't matter. We're going to bring the hands onto the pelvis. And then think about half moon if you know the pose. We're going to lift up the right hip as if we're coming to half moon. And then we're going to lower it back down into that bent leg warrior three. But we're trying to keep the left leg bent all the time. So we're lifting the right side and then lowering it. This is hard. So we've got to smile and laugh and not take ourselves too seriously. Because it's okay to do hard things, right? We're just not going to get too serious about them. Next time the right leg is in that half moon, maybe reach the arms as well. Woo, maybe fall, that's okay. Warrior two, we put the back foot down and come up. Well done. Into your warrior two. Take a big inhale. Exhale, we'll reverse the warrior. Let your head just drop to the right shoulder, so a neutral neck here. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, lean into warrior variation onto the front thigh. And again, let the head just drop, which if you've always looked up, it's a really difficult habit to break. Come back up, inhale. Exhale, reverse. Head drops. Inhale, come up. This time, carry on the right hand all the way to the floor. Drop the right knee down and send the left leg back for a modified side plank. But try and imagine that you're kind of on a tightrope here. That right shin is right underneath the body. Maybe lift the left leg up. Maybe the left arm can reach over the left ear. And I like to stay looking down here because it's wobbly. It's up to you. Try and really avoid that back bend, drawing everything in and together. Step the left foot to the front of the mat. Rise to stand, right knee to the chest. Maybe, maybe not. Hopefully you're with me. Let's do that again. Right shin and right hand land, a bit like half of a tabletop. Send the left leg back. Draw everything in, get those glutes and abdominals hugging you. Step the left foot forwards, rise to stand, right knee to the chest. Again, right hand, right shin down. Left leg back, modified side plank, which is harder than side plank if it's like this. Left foot forwards, right knee to the chest. Woo, one more time. Coming down and coming up. Right knee to chest, pause there, find your balance, hands to prayer. Right leg crosses over the left for eagle. Sit back, 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 back in the hips. You don't have to double cross. And then take your right leg behind your left like a curtsy squat, knee behind the knee, sit back, back, back. Right leg crosses over, eagle. Right leg behind, curtsy. Hips are strong, glutes are strong. Right leg crosses over. Last time, right knee behind, pause. Lower the right shin to the floor, turn to your left seated twist. And then we're just going to have a little dance with the arms and the shoulders. If seated twist is not for you, kick your right leg straight out in front of you instead. One more little boogie with the shoulders. We're going to unwind into goddess. So turn towards the front of your mat. Keep turning, heels in, toes out as you come up facing that long right edge of the mat. Hands on the pelvis, just sit down a couple of times. Neutral spine. Imagine you're sort of sliding your spine down a wall. And then staying pretty low, we can roll the right thigh in and take it back out. Roll the left one in, take it back out. And then think one by one. And if you're on a really sticky mats are awesome, but it can be a bit harder with the toes. So see how you go. Roll in and out. You can even pick up the foot if that's easier. And then pause in goddess, stay low. Reach your arms wide. We're heading into chair pose. Sweep this right arm down and forward. Step the feet. Utkatasana chair. Inhale. Exhale, fold over the knees. Keep the knees bent. Hands land, step or jump, plank. Slowly lower with or without your knees, or you can take chaturanga. Up dog or low cobra. Inhale and exhale. Downwards facing dog. And pause for a nice big breath. Maybe shake your head. Maybe pedal out the heels. From your down dog, second side, lift the right leg to about hip height. So the right leg isn't really doing anything, it's just holding strong in the air. Look at your left toes. Come onto the tiptoes a couple of times. That might be you for today. You might try a couple of hops. Push down. It's like you're trying to kick the floor away from you. Push down. You can maybe try swapping the legs in midair. We're going to be heading into a right leg crescent lunge. Woo! Arms lift. Bend both knees. Find that little bit of buoyancy. Neutral spine and breathe. Warrior 3. Right hand comes into this crease. Left hand hooks just around the right knee, just above it. Keep this right leg pretty bent as we shift forwards and lift. Draw the abdominals up. See if you can challenge yourself to sit back a little bit more in this right hip. Okay, hands on the pelvis. Remember, we don't care if we wobble. I've wobbled. I've fallen out of it. Who cares? Lift the left hip like warrior, like half moon. Come back down like it's warrior 3. Oh, lots of wobbles here, all over the place. It's okay. Lift the left hip. Lower it down. Keep going. We'll do 2 more. Lift. Roll the left hip back down in line with the right. 1 more, lift it up. And lower it. And then we'll lift it up into that half moon hip first. Pause. Maybe reach the arms out. Full half moon. Woo! Step it back, warrior 2. That's where I fell out before. We're just observing what we're doing, that's all. Big inhale. Exhale, reverse your warrior. Let the head just drop Reach through the right fingers. Inhale, come up, warrior two. And lean onto your right thigh, warrior variation. Relax your neck. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, reverse. Inhale, lift up, and this time carry that left hand all the way over. Left hand lands, left knee comes down, modified side plank. Right leg comes back, pause. Find your balance here. So if we're heading into more of a back bend, it's going to be a bit harder for the hip and, well, the muscles around the hip to really hold us tighter. Draw the spine neutral. Step the right foot forwards, lift the left knee. So you can take this part as slow as you want to. Left knee back down, left hand down, right leg back, modified side plank. Right foot forwards, left knee up. Anything that feels good for the hands and the arms to do as you come up. We'll do two more. Keep breathing. Next time that you are up, standing, stay there. Left knee lifts, power, feeling strong. Hands to prayer. Cross the left knee over the right, sit back in the hips, and pause. Uncross your left leg, bring it behind the right, curtsy. Bring it over, cross it over. Sit back. Again, curtsy. Bring it over and cross, eagle. And bring it back, curtsy. Pause in that curtsy position. Neutral spine. Lower the left shin down. Turn to your right. Seated twist. So any discomfort here, kick that left leg straight out along the floor instead. It's going to help you out. Circle your shoulders. Have a little move, a little dance. Oh, move the neck. Big exhale. Goddess pose. Turn to your left. Keep turning. Heels are in, toes are out. Lift up. Finding that neutral spine. Hands on the pelvis. Take a couple of pulses first. And then pelvis stays pretty neutral here. We're just going to roll each hip. So right thigh rolls in. Bring it back out. Left thigh rolls in, bring it back out. And then just play with this movement. It doesn't need to look a certain way. And then we'll stay low in goddess, both heels down, reach the arms wide. Chair pose at the front, left arm will sweep down and up. Chair, Utkatasana, pause. This time, rise yourself straight up into Tadasana. So we're going to put that together for our final sequence. Take a drink if you would like to. Whilst you're getting a drink, do this. So we're going to just add a little march where we're getting a bit of internal rotation in the hips. So what that kind of looks like for us is it feels like we're sort of kicking something with our heels off to the side. So this is like a drink break, strange dance that we're doing, and that's okay. Okay, so in our final sequence, we're going to put together the themes of the class, kind of in the wrong order, so it will kind of test our brains and our bodies and hopefully keep us really mindful. Just keep breathing throughout the whole thing. Come to the front of the mat, stand nice and tall. Inhale, chair pose, Utkatasana. Pause for a breath, keeping that neck long. Keep your arms as they are. See if we can just slide the right foot back for a tilted crescent. So it's a bit like a high lunge, except now we are tilting forwards. The core is strong. And then with control, lower the right knee slowly into your low lunge. Hands are still up. 90-90 with the legs. Keep the right hand lifted. Bring the left hand down. Left fingers onto the right glute. Push your left fingers down into this glute muscle and see if you can fire the muscle back up into your fingers as we pause. Reaching through the right side body. Big inhale. Big exhale. Side lunges, right hand comes down forwards, turn to the right, sit back. Sit back. We might add a twist this time. Up to you. We're heading into a funky dolphin. Funky dolphin at the front of the mat. So we're going to turn towards the front. As you turn, I'll do this slowly. We're going to send the right forearm down to the floor and the left hand is in line with the elbow. So left hand, right forearm, left leg lift and pause. Let the head go. Big inhale, big exhale. We're going to step that left foot to the front. So push the floor away, step the left foot. Warrior two, woo, come up. Inhale, exhale, reverse your warrior. Head relaxes. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lean forward, warrior variation. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, reverse. This time half moon. So as we come forward, we see if we can keep this left leg a bit bent. Slide it forwards. Maybe the left hand is on a block or the floor. Left leg very bent, that's okay. Maybe right hand to the lower abdominals. Just to remind them to engage here for us too. Okay, this is the playful part. Not too serious, remember. Hands come up to the pelvis. We're going to see if we can bring this into warrior three. So like we did before, we're going to tip the pelvis. We're going to turn it so it feels like the pelvic points are pointing down at the floor. Warrior three, or something that looks like it. Rise to stand, knee to chest. Anything you want to do with your arms that feels great. Eagle pose, cross the right leg over the left, sit down in the hips, strong in our hips. Okay, right leg comes behind like that curtsy squat. Sit down as if we're going into that seated twist. So right shin lowers, turn to your left, but then unravel your left leg to be facing the back of your mat. Hands down, fingers and toes all face the back of the mat. Shoulders are broad, lift the pelvis up into your reverse tabletop, and then we'll lower the pelvis down, lift it back up and lower it, keeping the chest open. Okay, next time you're down, sit down. Turn right into downwards facing dog. Maybe left leg lifts straight up in the air, three leg down dog. Bend the left leg, rotate that left thigh in and out. So remember, it's not really huge. We're not trying to change the spine, just that left hip. Step the left foot forward between the hands. Come all the way up. Big cartwheel of the hands to the back of the mat. Plank pose. Step back into plank. Maybe one leg plank with the right leg hovering. And lower down onto the belly with or without the help of your knees. Lower the head onto the forearms. Pulse that right glute. So right leg is bent here. Like we did earlier. Pressing the pubic bone into the floor. Release the right leg down. Push back, child's pose. Hips to heels. Drop the head. Tuck your toes. Downwards facing dog. Lift up. Take a breath. Shake the head. Make a noise. And then look at your hands. It's up to you if you want to walk towards the hands at the back of the mat or if you want to add a hop. Inhale, tiptoes, exhale, bend the knees, add a hop. Chair pose, Utkatasana. Pause here. Catch your breath if you need to. Big inhale, big exhale. Hold everything together. Okay, this time we're going to slide our left leg is going to slide back into a tilted crescent. So the abdominals are drawn in, right leg forward, left leg back, facing the back of the mat. This works our brains too. And then lower your left knee down, low lunge, gently taking the left knee to the floor. Keep the left hand lifted, right hand behind your back, right hand to left glute. Push down, almost as if you're pushing the muscle towards the floor. Fire the glute back up into your fingers. And it can help here to think about tucking the tailbone just so that we go more towards that posterior tilt if you want to feel that hip flexor stretch. One more breath. Side lunges, that left hand will just carry you. Turn, hands on shins, side to side. Hands can be on the floor, they can be in the hip creases. We can take a twist. Up to you. Funky dolphin at the back of the mat. Turn to the back of the mat. Left forearm down, right hand is in line with the left elbow. As the right leg lifts, pause. Think of a funky dolphin. And then step the right foot forwards for warrior two. So big push of the hands, step the right foot. Warrior two facing the back, big inhale. Exhale, reverse your warrior, let the head go. Oh, shake out the neck. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lean onto the right thigh, drop the head. Inhale, lift up, warrior two. Exhale, reverse. Here comes our half moon pose. Lift up. Think about half moon as you shift the weight towards the back of the mat. Right hand can be on a block, on the floor. Lifting, lifting, lifting through all of the core here. Every part of the body feeling strong. Let's play. Hands to the pelvis. Let's play with coming into warrior three from here. So we just tip the left hip down, lifting the chest a little bit, finding something that looks like warrior three. Rise left knee to the chest. I'm basically in my plant, so I'm just going to move. Left knee to chest and grow really, really tall. Anything you want to do with the hands, with the arms. Eagle pose, left leg crosses over the right, sit back in the hips, pause. Just the once. Curtsy, left knee behind the right knee. Pause, breathe. Here's where it gets funky. Lower the left shin down. Turn to your right, but then keep turning so you just wiggle the right leg over the left, facing now the front of the mat. Fingers and toes all face the same way. Lift the pelvis up and lower. Keep going. If your fingers don't want to point all the way, just close enough is also fine. Lift, open the chest, lower back down. Lift and lower. Lift, getting the glutes engaged at the top and lower down. Turn to your left, downwards facing dog. Maybe the right leg can lift straight up into the air. 3-leg down dog. Pause. Bend the right knee and rotate that right thigh in and out. So this is actually a movement of your hip, but often we're thinking about the thigh. Step the right foot to your hands. Big cartwheel of the hands all the way to the front. Step into plank. Left leg can hover. 1-leg plank maybe. Maybe bend that left knee and then lower with or without the help of the knees. Drop your forehead on your hands. Left leg is 90 degrees like it was before. Bent at the knee. Pulse the left glute. A few more times. Tiny, tiny movement. And then left leg can lower down, push back, child's pose. This time, just allow yourself to take a really big inhale and sigh it out. Exhale. And then come around onto your back. Well done, guys. If your brain is a bit confused with all the directions, have another go at the class. You'll see how much change happens even just repeating it once. As you come onto your back, have a block nearby. Have the knees pointing up. And then we'll start by crossing the left ankle over the right knee for a gentle figure 4. So as you come here, just watch your chin doesn't really want to stick up towards the ceiling. Maybe we can lengthen the back of the neck, almost taking your skull almost up the mat towards the back of the mat, making the back of the neck longer. We can close our eyes. Option is just to stay like this. in a gentle figure 4. One of my favourite options is to have a block underneath your right foot, just to bring that tiny little bit of height. And you can take a moment to play with the height here. So if you're not very flexible, especially in the back body, me, I'm not the most flexible yoga teacher, this is a really lovely way to do figure 4 without us feeling like we've got to kind of yank our bodies up to pull on this right thigh towards you. If you are more open in the back body, you could take the right thigh, you could draw it in a little bit closer. If you'd rather relax a bit more, maybe just keep the hands down. And now we just breathe. And hopefully we do feel quite energized. And we can still feel the energy from that dynamic movement running through your body. We're just not really going to respond to it. Just absorb. And we'll swap your legs over in your own time. So you can, if you even want to, like I'm going to do now, I'm just going to use my feet to move that block over so I don't have to get up. Left foot on the block or on the floor, or without the block or the floor, it can be in the air. Right foot crosses, some sort of figure 4 pose. Slide the back of your skull away. Might feel a bit like a double chin, that's okay. And relax. Again, the option is there to draw the thigh towards you, but you don't have to. And another nice option to do this figure 4, if you're at home and you've got space, maybe next time you do this video, maybe do it near the wall. So instead of the foot on the block, you can have your foot on a wall instead, slightly different angle. Another lovely version. And then we're going to come down into Shavasana. So try to avoid the temptation to keep adding movement on to the practice. And instead, kick your block away if you've got one. And come into some stillness. Maybe knees are bent up. Maybe legs are straight. Maybe you prefer to sit up or lie on your side. I do not mind at all. Shavasana is just a position that you feel comfortable and relaxed in. You don't have to try to do anything at all here. Just simply lie here or sit here and absorb your practice. If you have a bit longer, I'm going to invite you to just stay here and to ignore me for the rest of the class. Just lie here in Shavasana for as long as you want, and how lovely that would be. So please do if you have the time. Otherwise, let's find a huge full body stretch. Maybe a big yawn to go with it. Hug your knees to the chest. Give them a squeeze, curl up small. And if you're seated instead, just take any stretches that feel good. And I will meet you back up in a seated position. Take your time. Try to keep your eyes closed. Put that trust in your body. And we'll come up to seated, sitting tall. Sit in any way that's comfy for you. Doesn't have to be cross-legged. Bring your hands up to prayer. And this is just a sign of gratitude. Take a moment to be thankful to yourself, to your wonderful hips and your glutes and your strong, amazing body, to your sense of humour, and any time that you wobbled and smiled and jumped straight back in. Be thankful for all of that and take this final moment in your practice just for you, whatever you need before you carry on with your day. Bow your head forwards. And we'll blink the eyes open. And lift your head back up. Thank you so much for joining me for this practice. I hope you feel a bit lighter in your spirit, a bit uplifted. And please do the class again. I promise you that the second time gets better, gets easier, you will see. But please do let me know if you did this class. I'd love to say hello to you. I'd love to know how you found it. Thank you for joining me.